We are back for another Christian review of regular books, and today we are discussing the final revival of Opal and Me. Let's get into it. If you've never seen one of these videos before, you can check out the video that's pinned at the top of the playlist, or you can click one of these boxes here. That will give you much more information than what I will provide you right now. However, I'm going to do my regular review first, my own personal opinion of what I thought of the book, including my star rating, and then we'll get into my Christian review. At the end of the Christian review, I also give an age range that I think is appropriate as the younger side of reading the book. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on all of our Christian reviews of regular books, and also me and my mom's podcast, which is out here twice a month. We are constantly posting, and we don't want you to miss a thing. Now let's get into my regular review. The final revival of Opal and Neve is very similar to Daisy Jones and the Sixth. It's written very similar, which is that it's kind of written like a transcript, and the audio is a full cast narration. If you are going to read either of those books, truly do the audiobook because the full cast narration is so interesting. I tried to read it with my eyes at the very beginning, and then it was almost like transcript form, right? Where it'd be like the person's name and then what they said and the next person's name and what they said. And I really disliked reading in that format. I felt like I was reading transcription, which I did for my job, especially when I read this book, and I just really struggled with getting into it. I also do feel like a lot of the characters were highly unlikable characters. Like I just did not like them at all, and a lot of their character dynamics and relationship dynamics also just didn't really hit home for me. I thought at the time that I read this book that it was just me, like I was the problem. However, looking back and seeing some of the reviews and even talking with my book club about this book, a fair bit of people had similar issues and concerns with the book that I did. Ultimately, I rated it 3 stars. Looking back on it, it probably would be something closer to like a 2.5. I did not enjoy myself, and I kind of was just listening to it to get through it. However, if you are going to read it, the audiobook is where it's at. The full cast narration is fantastic, and I do think it really adds a ton to the story. Now let's go ahead and get into my Christian review. Before we get into all the topics, I just want to remind you that I am on Goodreads, where I'm reading and rating and posting all the time. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and I do have my own YouTube channel, so if you're wanting to see more of the day-to-day of what I'm reading, check it out down below in the description box. The first category I always love to touch on is smut or spice, and no, there are no explicit scenes. It's the one benefit of a book written like this because they're talking about it, so they're not describing sex scenes when they're describing this stuff in an interview format. So that was a win. Obviously, there's relationship dynamics and discussion about like marriage, or that they did engage in sexual activity, but not necessarily the details around it. The second category is explicit language, and there is some, but it's not bad, especially considering like these characters are meant to be like bandmates. And a lot of times people within like these types of industries are more commonly using explicit language, but this book really didn't have it. The final category is that I just want to flag that there is illicit drug use and discussion around illicit drug use and alcoholism. It is a common narrative around one of the characters for sure who had an addiction problem, but there were other characters involved within it and discussion of it. So if that's an area that maybe you don't want to read about, it's something good to know. Ultimately, I think this is probably good for ages 16 and up. There isn't a whole lot other than the illicit drug use to really concern about. You probably could go as low as like 14. I just, again, would really preface that you listen to the audiobook if you're gonna do it. Please know that we don't want to end the conversation here. We would love to continue on. You can either leave us a comment down below, let me know if you've read this book before or a book that you'd love for me to review, or you can send us an email at hello@trochia.org. I cannot wait to see you on the next one.